Yo, 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 what up, though? This is your boy, Crispy Daniels, and you are now on Show, What, and Talk. So, tonight's movie, we're going to do a continuation on the Karate Kid. So, we will be talking about Karate Kid Part 2. Man, so growing up, I'd never seen this movie once. You know what I mean? I think the first time I saw it was back in the early 2000s, actually. You know what I mean? But the first movie I used to watch all the time. So, and before we get into that, I would like to give a shout out to my brother Kevin. Happy birthday, man. You gonna be 26 soon, boy. Yeah, we just got back from a birthday dinner. You know what I mean? Olive Garden. Some of the best food. If you've never been there, try it. But yeah, anyways, back to the movie. So, now this movie right here, it's more or less Daniel LaRusso's story. It's more Miyagi's story because this time they travel to Okinawa, you know what I mean? His old village, near Japan. So basically what happens is the reason why he left in the first place is because, back in the day, Mr. Miyagi was trying to steal his best friend's girlfriend or whatever, or he actually did get her. But, instead of fighting, his friend, he decides to flee to America. So basically the story revolves around, Miyagi and his old friend. So when they get to Okinawa, well, I want to start from the beginning because Daniel, he breaks up with Allie because, actually she dumps him for some football player or whatever, according to him. So, he comes home. He's all pissy with, his night at the prom or whatever, even though it's just 2 years later. But, he just graduated high school, I guess. So it was his senior prom. So he was supposed to move with his mother because they was going to relocate. But Mr. Miyagi managed to convince his mother to let him stay there with him, in California. So, naturally, Daniel's happy about that because, him and Mr. Miyagi are like father and son. So Mr. Miyagi gets a letter. You know what I mean? Now, there's one scene in the movie where it's kind of like somebody else said it, but I kind of agree. It's kind of hard to watch. The mail carrier gives him the letter, and he's fascinated by his garden, and he's asking to bring his wife by sometime so, they could take a look at, the flowers and everything he got growing. And Mr. Miyagi just completely ignores him. So, the next day, I think it's the next day, if I'm not mistaken, he goes to the courthouse, I believe, so to get a passport. You know what I mean? Or he goes to get a passport, and Daniel really wants to come along with him. So, he gets his as well. He spent his college tuition money on a ticket to get to, Okinawa with Mr. Miyagi because he really, really wanted to go. You know what I mean? So Mr. Miyagi, like I said, was like his daddy. You know what I mean? Daddy Miyagi. But anyway, jokes aside, when they finally, make it to Okinawa, there's a guy standing there with a sign. And I guess he recognizes Daniel and Mr. Miyagi. So he takes him to like this warehouse or whatever. And, when they get out the car or whatever, before all of that, he's introducing himself as Chosen. You know what I mean? So he's polite to Miyagi, but then when he shakes Daniel's hand, he's gripping it with a really, really firm grip. You know what I mean? Basically being an asshole for no reason. You know what I mean? So when they get into the car or whatever, they drop him off at this warehouse. Get out, take their shit out the trunk and throw it on the ground. You know what I mean? And then that's when Miyagi's old adversary / friend comes in. You know what I mean? I forgot his name. It'll come back to me sometime later, but you know what I mean? He comes back and he wants to challenge Miyagi to a fight. But the whole reason why Miyagi's there anyway, because his father is about to pass away. So, he's there to give his last respects and everything. So basically, it's like days go by. You know what I mean? He gives him, I think, Miyagi 3 days to mourn. Because that was his master too. So out of respect for his teacher, he's giving Miyagi 3 days to mourn his father. So the 3 days is up, and now he wants to fight Miyagi. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's crazy. And it's kind of annoying because throughout this movie, he was so obsessed with fighting Miyagi. You know what I mean? Just Like everywhere you turn, he's just wanted to fight this guy. You know what I'm saying? And it was like 100 years ago. You know what I mean? But I understand Okinawa, your honor is a very serious thing. And then you got Chosen on the other hand, just constantly messing with Daniel, man, for no reason at all. Only because Daniel is Miyagi's student. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So, Daniel meets this girl, what's her name? Kamiko? You know what I mean? This is the new love interest. It's no longer Allie. So, they start hanging out, becoming close or whatever. And you already knew that was going to become a thing, you know what I'm saying? Because it was predictable. It's just how it is in these movies, with the exception of the third one. But, you know what I mean? But, yeah, man. So, Daniel's hanging out. And the infamous scene in the movie is the ice breaking scene. You had this black dude, right? I think he broke one bar ice, you know what I mean? He broke one bar. So he overheard Daniel was talking to Kamiko about, using the mind or whatever, saying, no, you got to use the mind. That's basically your strength right there in order to get through, to pass the test. So dude was like, all right, think you can do better? Get your ass up here. You know what I'm saying? So, at first Daniel was like, nah, he's reluctant, you know what I mean? So out of nowhere, I think Chosen shows up again. You know what I mean? Putting some money down. Daniel's like, no, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? So Miyagi comes out of nowhere, puts down, I think it was like, what, 500? Was it 500? Man, it's been a while since I've seen this. But yeah, you know what I mean? So, because Daniel thought Miyagi was going to rescue him. But no, he believed in Daniel that much. He put that much money down. You know what I mean? And then Chosen's uncle shows up. You know what I mean? And settles the bet. So then Daniel steps up to the ice. 6 pieces. That's what he's got to break. So the dude before him only had to break 1. But this man's got to break 6 pieces. Will he do it? You know what I mean? So, he's meditating and everything. And then it took him a while. But guess what? He got through it. He broke all 6 pieces of ice. And that would later become almost of a demonstration in Cobra Kai in one episode until it was interrupted. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? They got the money and they stepped off. So later on, you know what I mean? It's getting worse and worse. Chosen and his uncle just keep fucking with Miyagi and Daniel to the point where they start tearing up the, you know what I'm saying? Like the little area that they're staying in. Daniel's seeing this. They're destroying like the little village, like the little part he's in. You know what I mean? They're destroying all of that right there. Like the flowers, the gravel and all of that. You know what I'm saying? For no reason. Daniel got some balls too. You know what I mean? He steps out and he's confronting them. You know what I'm saying? And then it's crazy because while in the first one, Johnny was just messing with Daniel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he beat him up from time to time. But Chosen was trying to kill this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, seriously. And then Miyagi comes to the rescue as usual. And he winds up kicking all their asses. You know what I mean? The shit is funny though. You know what I mean? So, oh yeah, fun fact, it's not Pat Morita that's doing the martial arts choreography if you look close. It was his friend that was the one doing the, I'm not sure if it was, his friend in the second movie, but in the first movie, it was his friend doing all the stunts. You know what I mean? As far as the fight choreography, you know what I'm saying? It was not Miyagi or Pat Morita, you know what I mean? But moving on. So the movie just, I don't know, man. It starts, I ain't gonna say it's a slow burner because the action starts off as soon as they get to Okinawa. But I'll say this. Later on, you know what I mean? Daniel takes old girl to I think it's a dance or something like that, because the guy walks up to him with some flyers saying, yo, you should come to the dance, Kamiko, bring your friend too. Now, I wasn't sure if that was a setup just by the way the dude was talking to her or whatever, but they wound up going. And then, what do you know? They run into Chosen again. You know what I'm saying? And this time, you know what I mean? Chosen beats up Daniel, takes his money, but I think Daniel punches him in the nuts or something and gets the money and hauls ass. You know what I mean? So Chosen just not, but yo, they do have a scene though, but Chosen is just not a good person. You know what I'm saying? So there is this one scene where Daniel's looking into this dojo or whatever, right? And he sees Chosen teaching students. He's a pretty good martial artist, though. I think the guy that plays him is actually, good in real life. So, you know what I mean? He's actually a martial artist in real life. It's pretty good. But, yeah, so skipping ahead, you know what I mean? His uncle is still trying to fight Miyagi. Yeah, I mean, still trying to fight this man. Like, this dude has no other purpose in life but to kick Miyagi's ass. You know what I'm saying? But and then it gets to the point where, Miyagi, he finally agrees to a fight when Chosen's uncle threatens to destroy the whole village if Miyagi doesn't fight him. So he gives Daniel the deed to hit the house that's there in Okinawa or whatever. Daniel's trying to talk him out of it, but there's no talking him out of it. Because like I said before, Okinawa, honor is a very serious thing. So you going to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do to keep your honor, to save your honor. So later on in the movie, out of nowhere, there's this storm, like this typhoon or whatever that hits. And it's just ravishing the whole village and everything. So basically, Daniel, Chosen, Miyagi, and some other people that run into like this little hut. And the uncle is missing. So Miyagi goes out with Daniel, and they find him under that same log that he was trying to break, for years. Sorry, y'all, I got to cut off there. Right now, I'm using my phone. Because I was using my Chromebook, but until I can get an actual laptop again, his Chromebook ain't hitting on spit, yo. So I can't really do too much. That's why I'm recording from my phone for right now. So let's start where we left off. So Chosen's uncle was stuck under a log or this big ass piece of wood that he was trying to break for years. So Daniel and Miyagi winds up rescuing him from under there. It took him years to try to break it. He couldn't do it. And Mr. Miyagi broke it in one shot. So they get him to safety. And then it turns out there's also someone else outside. It's a little girl. She's stuck at the top of the light pole. So Daniel volunteers himself to go get her. And Chosen's uncle wanted him to go out there with him to, rescue her or whatever. And he said no, he couldn't do it. I guess it was an honor thing, but he was just acting like a little bitch. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, Chosen was one hell of a martial artist, but yo, that was fucked up. You know what I mean? So Daniel goes out there, and mind you, he has brass balls because this motherfucking light fixture was like, I think the wires had snapped or something, and there was electricity like running all over the place from hanging from the wire. So he gets her down, brings her to safety. And Chosen sees this and winds up running out. You know what I'm saying? His uncle's like, now you're dead to me. And so he winds up just, running away. So the next day, I guess his uncle realizes the damage that he caused to the village. All because he wanted to fight Mr. Miyagi. So he brings in a construction crew because, I guess he runs everything within that village or whatever. So, and then it's his company. So they wind up restoring everything that they destroyed. And then Kumiko, she wanted to be a professional dancer or whatever. So they wanted to have a dance over at it's like the old ancient grounds or whatever. I forgot what it was called. Yo, forgive me, y'all. It's been so long since I've seen the movie, but they wanted to have a dance in that area. So, naturally, Chosen's uncle obliged. You know what I mean? He just became a completely different person after Miyagi saved his life. So the dance takes place. Everybody's having a good time and everything. So it's finally Kumiko's turn to, go ahead and put on the show for everybody. So everybody takes their seats. Kumiko does what she does. And out of nowhere, Chosen shows up. You know what I mean? So this dude, all throughout the movie, was talking about honor. And he's going to sit there and take a woman hostage because he wants to fight Daniel. You know what I mean? So what happens is Daniel's reluctant at first because he knows this isn't no tournament. This is for real. This is for his life. So, Chosen said, get your ass over here. We gonna fight. So Daniel eventually makes his way across the way, to the platform. So where him and Chosen and Kamiko is. So he throws her down, and then next thing you know, him and Daniel get into a brawl. You know what I'm saying? So this fight is somewhat realistic. Like, and that's one thing about the Karate Kid movies. While a lot of people like, flashy move kicks and all that stuff in real life, like a lot of that shit is not going to work that you see in these other movies in real life because you're not going to have time to do it. But, you know what I mean? I do love those movies. Don't get it twisted. I love the choreography and all that. But it's just so happened that the Karate Kid has some of the most realistic, martial arts or whatever. So him and Daniel were going back and forth. He winds up getting the best of Daniel for a little bit. And next thing you know, Daniel used this drum technique that I guess Miyagi showed him earlier in the movie with this little drum. So that's how he winds up beating Chosen. You know what I mean? So Chosen was like, he chose death because Daniel offered, he said, live or die. You know what I mean? So basically, Daniel just gave him the, I guess he made the decision for him. He's like, nah, wrong. So he does basically the same thing Miyagi did to Kreese in the beginning of Karate Kid 2, because the beginning actually is the end of the first one. You know what I mean? We'll talk about that part in a minute because I forgot about that. You know what I mean? So everything is all good. Daniel winds up winning and he gets the girl. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much the movie right there. But we're going to go back to the beginning because this is like basically after the tournament from the first movie. I'm not sure if they filmed this part and they just cut it out and left it as a freeze frame at the end of the first one. But, Daniel, he's, getting ready to leave or whatever. And across the way, they see Kreese harassing Johnny and, other students or whatever. So him and Johnny are going back and forth. Kreese called him a loser because he became in second place. So he just grabbed him and starts choking him out. You know what I mean? And then he slaps one of his fucking students. Like, yo, this motherfucker is, he's wacko. Like, he's loony. You know what I'm saying? So Miyagi throws his shit in the truck, goes over there, and confronts Kreese. You know what I mean? So it's down to him and Kreese. And naturally, you would think the old frail man's going to lose. You know what I mean? But no, Kreese is a dumbass, number one, because he fell for the same trick twice. He tried to punch Miyagi twice and busted both of his hands, breaking a car window. This motherfucker was disrespectful. Yo, who shit was that anyway? You know what I mean? Like, goddamn. So it looks like, Miyagi is going to kill him, but he doesn't. You know what I mean? I know that shit had to have been embarrassing for him. So at that's when the second movie starts. But yeah, man, that's pretty much my review on the Karate Kid Part 2. I thank you guys for listening. Next week, we will be getting to Part 3. And I'm debating that if I want to do a live for that one or not. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to be honest with y'all. Karate Kid Part 3 is better than the second one, in my opinion. A lot of people hate it. But yo, Terry Silver saved the fucking movie for me, man. That's my dude, man. Yo, shit's funny. But yo, stay tuned. And we will be talking about that next week. But I got to get out of here, guys. Got to get up for work in the morning. So I'll get at you later. Peace.